makes for me are these finger joints, cool joint.
And I like that. Just takes one board and a couple scrap pieces.
Absolutely. So sometimes I want to get in the shop and I want to start working on a project, but I don't want to build some big massive furniture project. So then it's time to turn to a small weekend project.
Weekend projects are always popular, and what I really like is if it can be a gift project as well. But just because it's a small project doesn't mean you can't pack a lot of woodworking into it.
Well, like this Keepsake box, for instance, it has a lot of woodworking. That one of the features is that it has curved sides. Now the ends curve out, they're convex. The sides curve in, they're concave. It gives it a very interesting look. So how do you cut the curves? How do you smooth the curves? And then how do you allow for joinery at the corners when you're going to have these curves?
And that's where it all starts, is the joinery. Now in this case, we went with a version of box joints. They're called finger joints. And you can see here on the ends how you have this long joint here with these narrow fingers. Looks wide here on the ends, but actually on the concave portion, they look more like narrow, small box joints.
Right. So finger joints are a variation on box joints. Box joints typically almost square on both sides, what you see, the end grain. This is much longer and narrower because the work pieces are actually wider, so you have to cut this kind of deep, make this deep cut. And in this case, we just chose to make it very narrow. That gives you this finger joint look. Now it also provides a lot of glue surface on every one of these joints at the corners, so this is extremely strong on a joint like this.
And that's important because it is a keepsake box after all. You're going to put valuable items in there and you want to make sure they're safe.
Extremely valuable items. So in our case here, for this box, my box, and the keepsake item, of course, my favorite, peanut M&Ms. It's one of my favorite keepsakes.
Got my own stash.
You got your own stash, so that's good. We don't fight over that then. So we wanted to use some kind of exotic wood, a small piece that would be interesting to use on this box.
Now the exotic we chose for this box is actually called Bacote. And it's got a nice grain, but we contrasted that with this maple top here. Now, if you have a lot of different materials, you can make different boxes. They all look great. In this case, with this one, we went with cherry on the body and a wenge top. Another choice, wenge for the body and then a bird's eye maple for the top. What I really like about both of these is the contrast it gives. It really sets off the project.
Now the key thing when you're choosing either an exotic piece of wood that you've been saving up, some kind of expensive wood, so this is a small project, you don't have to use much of it, or you can get a highly figured piece, sometimes a normal piece of wood that just has a lot of knots in it and a lot of figure and character to it that you wouldn't want to use on some other project, but is ideal for a small project like this. The key is that when you're getting one piece of wood, you want one piece of wood for all the sides of the box. Now there's two things there. One is that if it has a strong grain pattern, then you want the grain can carry from one piece to the next all the way around the box. It's a kind of cool feature. But the key thing is, even if the grain is kind of subdued, like on the wenge or even on the cherry, that the color match is the same on all these pieces. So it's one piece of wood, and then you can go ahead and cut the two sides and the two ends out of that one piece for great color match.
Once you have everything cut, you're actually ready to start concentrating on those finger joints. Now the finger joints, it's a very consistent look and you got to have even spacing. So we turned to the table saw for that and used a special jig to make the cuts.
Right, so I'm going to get in the shop and we'll get to work on the finger joints to make the basic part, join the sides and the ends of our box.